and welcome back to the 20th Century Dude channel. So, I hope you're liking the new setup here. I think it is definitely an improvement from what was. But what are we going to take a look at today? Certainly not 8 tracks, but it is definitely the 33 and a thirds, also known as the LPs. I just wanted to show off my collection, at least the collection as of now. I know I've talked about that for a good year or two. I'm finally gonna actually do this video now. I did 78s previously. Those are in they're in small books to be put in, so that's how I organize my 78s. 45s, they're gonna be a long one to do, so I think I'm gonna postpone 45s until a much later point. But I do want to show you my collection of LPs that I have to listen to. So I'll just try and be as brief as I possibly can, but let's dive into it. Alright, well, we might as well just start with what's on top. We have here My Only Simon and Garfunkel, Sounds of Silence. This is their second album, I believe. Pretty good listen. This, along with, as you'll see, the Letterman here. This is basically my Grandpa Sharp's music, what he would have listened to back in the 60s, early 70s. It was Simon and Garfunkel, the Letterman. I forget what the other band was. I don't think it was the Everly Brothers. It was something else. I forget what it was. But anyway, those were the main 2 or 3 bands that he would listen to. He wasn't really into like the hard rock and stuff at the time, like Rolling Stones. He wouldn't have been interested in that. So we had bands like Simon and Garfunkel and the Letterman that we listened to. So this is basically my grandpap's music right here. I will also note before I continue, they're not always completely the most well organized, so there may be moments where stuff's going to be a little uncategorized, but that's okay. We have here the Fabulous 50s. This is a compilation of music from the 50s. The cover's a bit worn. I did have to tape this up a good bit. I believe, I don't actually remember where I got this from. Probably a yard sale. I don't remember, but it's seen a lot of years. Just like this Motown set here, this is a pretty good compilation of Motown music from the 1960s, early 70s, stuff from the Jackson's 5, Diana Ross, the Temptations, etc. Of course, the cover's not in great shape either. So I forget what I shoved in here. Okay, so yeah, this is the album Meet the Beatles from, well, you guessed it, the Beatles. So this would be the UK version of, I believe, their first album. This is the UK version of what would become Please Please Me in the US. So it's slightly different from what we have over here. And I forget what's in here. I believe it's, gotta give me a minute. It just says Golden Hits Volume 3. But there are just some various pieces of music from the 1960s. We get the Batman theme on here. Apparently we got Eve of Destruction, which was a pretty famous anti-Vietnam song way back in the day. Little Deuce Scoop from the Beach Boys, etc. So we get some hits on this record. So I am going to go at this one at a time. We'll end with some swing over here because that just happens to be what's on the right side. Over here we have ABBA. I believe this was before they went disco. We have an album here from Pablo Cruise. Not exactly a musical group I listen to a whole lot of. But I do, for whatever reason, seem to find this vinyl record. A lot of antique stores, thrift stores, local sale barn where we have them Wednesdays during the summer in my town. So I don't know what it is about this Pablo Cruise album. I just seem to see that a whole lot for some reason. Bay City Rollers, also don't really listen to that a whole lot. Oh yes, this is the Gone with the Wind authentic original recording for the score. So I believe Mom has a copy of the soundtrack, but it isn't like the authentic recording. I think it was like a remaster or something they also did on vinyl at one point. We have the monkeys right here, and then we have more monkeys, in case you want to monkey around a little bit with the music. Here's the Bob Dylan album, John Wesley Harding. Uh, talk about musician Mom also doesn't like. She thinks he sounds a bit too nasally, so she kind of makes fun of Bob Dylan a little bit. It's like, well, that's kind of mean. I don't think he can help that. But anyway, this is actually one of my first vinyl records that I ever had. I remember getting this, I don't remember where, but it was a tall brick antique store that I remember. I think it was near Ellisburg, Pennsylvania, but I could be wrong. This was Elvis's Golden Records. I also had this on tape. Again, this is one of my first vinyl records. I got this, 10, 12, maybe more years ago, when I didn't even really have a good record player yet, but this was definitely one of the first ones I remember. So this is a mix of songs that he did in the 1950s. I believe there should be another Elvis one in here somewhere. Again, not completely well organized, but I will organize it at a much later point. This is the Police album, Ghost in the Machine. This is the only one from the Police I have. Survivor here, thankfully, does not contain the song Eye of the Tiger, which I think is probably one of the most overplayed songs probably ever, because, well, I'm sure there are more Survivor songs than just Eye of the Tiger. I don't know why we keep playing the same one. But anyway, I got some John Cougar Mellencamp for any of the Mellencamp fans out there. Of course, I was just talking about Rolling Stones earlier, so there's some Stones. This is one of the last albums done by the Jackson 5. They were just called the Jacksons at this point because they went and changed one of their brothers. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was either Jackie Jackson or who was the other one? I don't think it was Marlon Jackson. One of the Jacksons left, and I think was replaced by younger brother Randy Jackson as part of the new lineup. That's why they called themselves the Jacksons. They went and just completely changed their title. But anyway, again, more Rolling Stones. Here's some Mamas and Papas, I believe. Burkett Fleming, who does our Is It Broke or Fixable series, has this on Reel to Reel, which we still have yet to do a video on, the Reel to Reel format. This record was only played once. This is the debut album of the Smiths, one of my favorite bands of all time. Man, because it's brand new, it just sounded so clean and so wonderful. Here's some disco, and we're going to be getting into a good handful of disco. I did used to have some more disco albums, but I wanted to condense that a little bit because, well, I guess maybe there is such thing as too much disco. We have some Bee Gees hits here. Of course, more disco. Not completely dead, I guess. Let's see. Yep, more disco. Now we're getting into Motown here, just like the Motown album up there. We have some, I think, a couple of Motown albums. That's not Motown, but we get some hits from the 1970s on there. Okay, yeah, there's more Motown. What's this one? Oh, Bee Gees. I believe that's before they actually went disco, so like ABBA, completely different era. So we're going to be going and doing Beatles in reverse now, I guess. This is their Blue album, which was a compilation of their biggest hits from 1967 to 1970. So I believe that's, let's see, from the time of Sgt. Pepper on to the very end of the band's career. Of course, there's Abbey Road. Their next to last studio album, I think the last one was Let It Be. I think it was called. This is the White Album, the original pressing, mind you. So I can only imagine how much money this is probably going for right now. But that is the original release of the White Album. Here is the Magical Mystery Tour. Not in the greatest of shape, unfortunately. At least, thankfully, it's not the best Beatles album of all time, but beyond the point. It's a little scuffed here on the front cover. The disc is a bit dirty, unfortunately, as well. I used to have this on 8-track. That 8-track snapped, unfortunately. Figures, right? We have here Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Arguably the best Beatles album of all time. At least I think so. Some people think it's Revolver or the White Album. But you be the judge. I think that goes to Sgt. Pepper. This is the album Help, although it's a different version of their Help album because it's more based on the movie soundtrack than it is the actual album. But I do have the actual album on cassette tape. This is A Hard Day's Night. Again, like Help, more based on the soundtrack than the actual album. These are some compilation albums from the Beatles. This is from the UK, I think. Also from the UK. I don't know why I have 2 copies of the Beatles' the second album. I don't even know where I would have got 2 of them, to be honest. I have no clue. Somehow I just ended up with 2 copies of those, but I only really need 1. It's fine. Again, there's Please Please Me, like I mentioned earlier. I think we're done with Beatles soon. Yes, so here's the Beatle Beat. So this is just a stand-in band doing some... most of these are Beatles hits from the early 60s. Yes, there's the other Elvis album. I knew I had that somewhere. What do we got? Oh, yes. The Star Wars soundtrack on the original vinyl. Kudos to my grandmother for happening to find this. I don't even know where. But this is the original John Williams score on vinyl. Can't get any better than that. Alright, what do we got next? Ooh, okay. Get some Fleetwood Mac. So here's their own White Album in a way, just called Fleetwood Mac. That's with Stevie Nicks and I think Lindsey Buckingham, joining the group. Of course, Rumors, of course, their most famous album. And Archie Bunker, what can I say? So this album, record, I guess, if you will, it contains some audio clips of some funny moments from the show, mostly between Archie and the Meathead arguing with one another. This is the original soundtrack radio recording of The Lone Ranger. Oh boy, 1938. Of course, it's not vinyl unless you collect some Genesis. Can't go wrong there. We have here this John F. Kennedy documentary on vinyl. So it contains some audio snippets from when he was president and news recordings as well. We also have here the original motion picture score for Patton. Pretty good score. Got that for $5. We have some Journey. So this is their album Escape, I believe, from 1983. And, of course, their greatest hits. This is a reprint, however. Also one of my first pieces of vinyl. So we get some hits from the 1980s. I believe at least there was another one, I think. I don't remember. Maybe it was this one. Has some radio hits from the 1980s. Benny Goodman, I don't even remember getting that at all or where I might have found that at, but I guess there's some Benny Goodman. This one I scored for $1. Not a bad deal, I suppose. Oh, yes. So, the following records we see here, Lewistown is about 20 minutes away from where I live. That's also where I went to high school. The school district in Mifflin County it looked different way back in the day. Before we merged and completely were just one Mifflin County entity. The school district had a bunch of different high schools. We had the Lewistown High School. They were the Lewistown Panthers. We had Indian Valley, where my parents went to. Indian Valley also consisted of, they had their own merger back in the 80s and 90s. They were Chief Logan and Kish went to form Indian Valley. So they ended up merging. I don't even know when this would have been pressed, but this was from a concert way back when. The date, I have no idea. But this is their junior and senior high school bands. Somebody pressed a record of this. Their marching band, Panther Band, we see here from Mike Wasilko, who would later move over to Indian Valley for a while. He was actually my dad's marching band director. So this was 1979 and 1980 school year. And this was before that, the 1978 to 79 school year. So I probably shouldn't have actually taken this out of the shrink wrap when I got it. It would have been nice if I had maybe extra copies, keep one in the shrink wrap and one to actually play. But, well, nothing I can do about that now. We have this record of rock and roll hits from the 50s. A pretty clean record, I must say. Some random Miami Vice hits. I think there's probably more records. I don't know where you go to find those. We have Miles Davis here. And, of course, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack on vinyl, because why not? I also have this on CD, as well as 2 copies on 8-track, so it's not like I'm going to be low as far as what I can listen to Saturday Night Fever on. Okie dokie. So we get some jazz in there. Oh yes, the Man on the Moon record. So this is full of audio recordings from the moon launch of Apollo 11. So we get to hear some audio of Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, and of course Neil Armstrong going onto the moon. Of course with Walter Cronkite and those news snippets, of course, and the phone call between Nixon and the astronauts. So this is the Guardians Volume 1 Awesome Mix. I have the actual soundtrack albums on tape, the last 2 anyway. And I, of course, have a randomized mixtape on my phone. So there's some Guardians of the Galaxy there. And now, here's some Swing. Now, keep in mind, it's a little incomplete. I believe it skips over World War II. I might have to go hunt down whatever the World War II one is. But it goes from 1936 till the post-war. So here we see this is 1936 and then ends with the post-war era of swing music. Of course, that's when big band and swing was starting to die down, and by the 50s, of course, we had rock and roll as the main form of music. But anyway, that's my vinyl collection. I just wanted to show that to you all. Would like to play a snippet, but I guarantee you the copyright Nazis will go after me. God forbid I should play a bit of music that's, familiar to people. But anyway, that's all I have for today. So thank you for tuning into the 20th Century Dude channel. Hope to catch you on the fly. See you. God bless you all.